Walt Disney's Disneyland.
Johnny, it's 100 years. 100 years since Walt Disney, the great Walt Disney, founded Disneyland. Oh, yeah, Johnny. And due to the amazing technology that is available today, we're able to hear a message from Walt himself. Oh, Jesus, that's marvellous. Now, Walt spent his whole bloody life trying to forge this company up from the fucking ground. Oh, Walt. And he did a great job, and he kept the bloody company on course with an iron fist. Oh, Walt.
Now, another of our World Fair exhibits that features the audio animatronics is the Carousel Theater of Progress. Well, how do you do?
Now, Walt, he was old-fashioned, you could say. He just liked a bloody good story, and he kept his team, who would tend to meander off course occasionally. He'd keep them He would keep them centred down that road of good storytelling. Oh, Walt. And that's why they were successful. Oh, Jesus, that's marvellous. Come on, Walt, let's hear it.
Walt Disney's Disneyland. When you wish upon a star.
Good evening, friends. You know, I founded this company, way back now in 1923. If you find people would indulge me, I'd like to fondly imagine what it might look like on its 100th anniversary in the distant year 2023. I'd give anything to be there with you.
Well, we wish you were here too, Walt.
But this seems to be one of those times I'm tied down here at the studio night and day. And incidentally, have a handkerchief ready.
Oh, Walt!
It's a wistful and romantic notion, I suppose, but I dream of superheroes running around wearing brightly colored spandex. I hope that by 2023 my Disney studio will produce a new Snow White, a very special kind of motion picture, one of which we're very proud.
Oh, what a film! What a movie!
Which will deconstruct the old fairy tale with romantic notions being shunted aside and Snow White's dwarves being replaced by magical people in flaky socio-cultural prevailing attitudes, and the mezhij. Well, I suppose you can't blame a fond old man for dreaming.
Oh, Walt! What memories, Johnny?
The wholesome family values and romance that have stood as a cornerstone of my company will, I can only hope, be jettisoned in favor of characters who are strangely sexless, who don't become involved in relationships. It's my fervent wish that the indulgent writers of these characters assemble a film that alienates great swathes of the nation and ultimately sucks balls to such an extent that it loses my company $250 million.
Oh, yes, those films captured the imagination, Johnny.
And ultimately sucks balls to such an extent that it loses my company $250 million. Why, it is my most cherished hope that a new version of the beloved Little Mermaid, a real Disney favorite, will include a musical number by a squawking, spluttering woman who sounds like she is mentally deranged. A song that sucks so much ass it were if the torture suction device affixed to the eyes in Saw X had instead been attached to society's collective rectum and placed on turbo, causing a catastrophic colonic hemorrhage.
Oh, Johnny, you can hear the pride in his voice. The pride! Yes, he's obviously proud.
In the far-off times, decades hence, I would be delighted if my Disney company produced a kids' flick featuring a first non-binary character to instill in impressionable boys and girls the charming notion that they too could embrace the idea of being non-binary and gender fluid.
Walt Disney's Disneyland.
Now, Johnny, Disney needs a bit of leadership now. If only they could bring Walt back from the cryogenic frozen fucking state he's apparently in. Yeah, I know, yeah. If I could get Walt back, I'm sure he'd bloody get that company back on track, because they've lost bloody billions. He could get them back on track and reproduce the Disney of 1950. Yeah, I think that's what we need.
My hope would be that my company would herald the studio's 100th anniversary celebration by ditching the wholesome, earnest family values and trademark charm in favor of a hopelessly complex and abstract premise with a tangle of other in-universe rules destined to bore and confuse little children, and falling flat at the box office.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
My, oh my, what a wonderful future lies in wait. What I started way back in 1923 is bound to receive its greatest realization and apotheosis a century on in the distant future of 2023. One thing I can be sure of. The custodians of Disney in the future will take the values that I hold dear and express them in wholesome, engaging, and above all, original films and shows the whole world is bound to love. I'd give anything to be there with you.
Well, Johnny, it's been a marvellous contribution to the Disney 100th anniversary. Walt is...
Ultimately sucks balls to...
Good on you, Walt. That's all I can say, Johnny.
Alienates great swathes of the nation.
I think the people at Walt Disney these days could do well to listen to what the fucking hell Walt was talking about.